What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to a brand new video. It is your boy Pokestocks here, bringing you another set review, going over Surging Sparks in today's episode. So today we'll be doing a full set review, my predictions, prices, etc., etc. Sit back, guys. Grab some water. Do not grab anything else. Be healthy for today's video. And of course, keep in mind I am on vacation, so if you do hear barking, if you do hear crickets, I am currently in the mountains, guys, recording this on my laptop. So if the quality is not the same, keep that in mind. And join the Discord link down below. And remember, I'm not a financial advisor, so anything I do say, guys, please go ahead, do your own research, do what feels comfortable to you guys, as this is just my opinion here. Let's hop into this video. Surging Sparks. This would be a fun episode. I really have never done a set review on Surging. I really have not talked about the set in general. However, I do have a good premise, and I am gonna, give you guys everything, sort of what I think about this set in my opinion, and sort of where it's headed for the future, now, etc., etc. Let's go over the premise, guys, of this set, and just go over the detail. Surging Sparks, as we know, is a what I like to call it's a strong, stable set. It has a Pikachu as a chase card. It has a Pikachu on the ETB. And in all honesty, we really don't see ETBs being really, really aesthetic. If you guys, think about Darkness Ablaze, for example, and I'm doing a little bit of a throwback, think about Darkness Ablaze or Stellar Crown, they have some really weird Pokemon. So aesthetically speaking right here, Surging Sparks does carry that for sure. They didn't put no freaking, I don't know, dude, some stupid electric Pokemon. So they have that. Just want to throw that out there. We got a Pikachu, we got a Latias, we got a Milotech. I'm sorry, guys, I do not know how to say that name. We got, a lot of strong cards in this set in terms of general speaking. And I definitely do think in just terms of overview for this set, it's going to be performing very, very well long term. Hands down, there's really nothing we can disagree on. Now, if we look at the overall set, guys, value right here, we have it estimated at $1,100. Now, the chase card of this set is obviously the Pikachu, and I do want to throw this out there. We have sets like Vivid Voltage, which sort of do contain, guys, that Pikachu as a chase, and I'm just comparing it to Vivid Voltage in just terms of the chase card. Not too much. I'm not going to be talking about it too much in today's video. But what I really like about Surging Sparks that Vivid Voltage really missed out on, I think Pokemon sort of was learning their lesson, hopefully, bro, was just having a good amount of quality in a set. If you guys think about, freaking Obsidian Flames, for example, or if you think about Darkness Ablaze or Vivid Voltage, those sets right there, it's a great example of Pokemon just not putting the effort in. But Surging Sparks, for example, is just a great example. Why I keep saying that word, guys? I'm sorry. I will not say that word again. I need to work on my grammar, dude. It's really, really bad. I failed English like freaking 2 times in high school, guys. I'm sorry. So, we have cards in this set like freaking Pikachu, Latias, Milotic. Guys, please don't hate me for that. I'm not gonna say that name too. We got Lisa's Appeal, Latios, Alolan Exeggutor. These are so hard to pronounce, bro. My grammar sucks, and they put the hardest Pokemon. Okay, just for a meme, I'm gonna try to pronounce each Pokemon. Let me know how I do. So we got Pikachu, we got Latias, Milotech, Hydrogen. Okay, Lisa's Appeal, Alolan Exeggutor, Latios, Night Stretcher, Jasmine's Gaze, Durant, Kevin Durant. Oh my god, how do you say that? Sir Luge, dude? What? Arculondon. Oh my god, dude. Guys, I'm telling you, chat, please do not ever make me talk about Surging Sparks on a podcast or anything, because I will get bullied. And do not bully me in the comments right now. Okay, so put the memes aside. Surging Sparks does have a very, very good set quality, so I think there's no problem here. If you guys did watch my Destiny Rivals review, I sort of went over the fact that sets nowadays are falling into the trap of either having quality and quantity or having the mix of both. A great example of this is Destiny Rivals, Prismatic, and 151 having a mix of set quality and quantity, and I do think you could squeeze Surging Sparks into that list because it has a lot of quantity of a lot of chase cards, and they're not bad. It is a lot of quality, At Pikachu, a Latias, a Milotech, Hydrogen, a Latios, a Lisa's card always tend to perform well. They have that background for them, so they're not random Pokemon, and I do think they could fit in this list. So congratulations, Surging Sparks, you made it in there in terms of my opinion right here. Now let's take a look at how the set is performing long term. The booster box, guys, is a great example. Brick you, bro. Can't even let me see the data for the past 1 year. You're a bum. However, it's just the booster box, guys. I just want to throw that out there. If you want to investigate a set to see how it's performing, as a brief overview, sort of like if you go on top of the mountain and you could just gaze down, the booster box, if the set does contain a booster box, is sort of a good premise to see how cards are following, prices of packs, and see what the price to pack ratio, etc., is. Now, Surging Sparks booster box right now is competing relatively friendly to all of the other sets. We have sets like Stellar Crown, I believe, sets like Obsidian, that are all performing around at the $240 range at box right now. Paldea Evolved, last time I remember it, I believe was like $300, so that's a little bit more expensive. But Surging Sparks is not crazy. It's it's a lot cheaper than Dynasty Rivals and a lot cheaper than Paldea Evolved. But it is one of those few sets that's a bit underrated. I do think Surging Sparks should be competing with Destin right now in Paldea. If it does just do that well, because there's really nothing stopping it. I do think that the set, in terms of quality speaking here, is hands down better than Obsidian, is hands down better than freaking Stellar Crown, is hands down better than Temporal and Paradox, and for some reason, guys, it is comparing with that price of, that 240. Just to make sure I'm not talking bullcrap, let's check the price of Stellar Crown. I do not remember, guys, what Stellar Crown is currently at, but it's probably, if I had to guess, if it's going to let me load it, please and thank you. Guys, I'm in the middle of the mountains right now, so I am sort of recording this video on the freaking mountain. I don't think anything's going to load. Chat, please. Okay. I do not think, guys, we will be able to load the Stellar Crown thing, so I'm sorry about that. But, just say, for example, top of my head, I remember it is competing with that price. So Surging Sparks does have that little bit of a quality right there. Now here's my price prediction and what I'm doing in Surging Sparks in this market right now. I do think that Surging Sparks, for a long-term growth, whatever you define long-term, if that's 2 years, if that's 5 years, or if that's 10 years, you could keep that to yourself. However, I do think Surging Sparks, in your own definition, long-term growth, is going to be one of those few sets from Scarlet and Violet that will probably see a very, very strong, stable growth, if that makes sense. What I mean by that is, once Surging Sparks goes out of print, once it goes out of rotation, and most likely, even now, speaking, we're going to see this set just do very, very well. There's really no reason, guys, for it to go down, because the set is very aesthetic, it's very appeasing, has a lot of good quality and quantity, and it's a Pikachu. So, you got nothing to go wrong here for this set. In 3 years, if I had to put a prediction, that's hard, bro. The reason I don't like predicting products, guys, is because I do not know what the market will be like, just due to the fact that we can't go that far in. But what I could tell you is that if I had to put a prediction, by the end of 2025, I don't think that Surging Sparks, in terms of the booster box, is going to go down. I don't think we're going to get a reprint of the booster box anytime soon, because Pokemon is printing Mega Evolution, and then we have the new Charizard set coming out. But we will probably see Surging Sparks at $300 a box. Of course, that's what I think. I could be totally wrong. Do your own research. But in terms of how things are going, I do think that Surging can easily, guys, easily speaking right now, compete with Destin. Can easily compete with Paldea, because there's really nothing stopping it from hitting those levels. It has that same quality and quantity. Destin Rivals is obviously better, but I do think Surging might be a tad better than Paldea Evolved. I mean, the Pikachu or Magikarp, guys, of course, that's a community vote. I cannot change your thoughts because that's just a premise or an opinion, but Pikachu is such a known Pokemon into the market, and if you're a collector, TCG player, whatever you want to do here, it just tends to perform very, very well. Now, if we currently look at the ETB, there's been a lot, guys, and I'm not kidding when I say this to you. There has been a lot of a commotion right now about what to do with your Elite Trainer boxes, because as you guys remember, there has just been so much going on with the Costco reprint, and it's hands down one of the biggest things right now that's scaring the Surging Sparks community in general. We have the Surging Sparks ETB and Booster Bundle getting released at Costco, and it's putting a lot of FOMO into the market. I said this a few weeks ago, and I still do not regret what I'm saying. I'm always humble to make my mistakes, but I do not think what I said was a mistake, and I'm still on this point, that if you guys do have any Surging Sparks ETBs, I would highly recommend getting them off your hands if, and I'm saying this is very important, red screen right now, guys, put on your red screen, if you can pick them up when they drop from the Costco bundle. Prismatic Evolutions, just following data here, when they got reprinted at Costco, we saw prices drop. So when Surging Sparks has that initial release, I think that we're easily going to see those numbers fall. Now, in terms of how much they're going to fall, I can obviously predict that, but I do think they're going to be a lot cheaper. And because it's not prismatic evolutions, it'll probably be, more so speaking as a better product than sort of what we're going on. Now, give me a moment here because I'm currently looking something up. Yeah, so I'm checking on my phone on Poke Notify. We're having the Costco's guys come and store it now through the 13th through the 16th. Obviously, that can change, that can vary, might come earlier for you. Totally depends on your region or where you live. But usually speaking, we are going to see the ETBs fall. And I do think that this will probably be a very, very good opportunity to pick up Surging Sparks ETBs. And as an investor myself, I hate to pay third-party pricing because that's just something I really do not like to do. I like to get things at MSRP. Or, I go to card shows, I do buy over MSRP. It's not something I hate, but not something I enjoy. This might be one of the few products that I might pick up, guys, in the month of August when we see these prices fall. Because, if you really think about it, will Pokemon, relatively speaking, in the next few months to a year, be reprinting Surging Sparks ETBs? Probably not. Why? Because they're just printing every other set right now, guys, and scalpers are going insane. So it might be a good opportunity. Now, what I do find very, very interesting is the Pokemon Center ETB. The Pokemon Center ETB is a great example, guys, of having that exclusivity. Now, I'm sorry that my Wi-Fi is not loading because that's why the charts are not loading, guys. I'm currently freaking... I just pulled this up, bro, and nothing's loading anymore. Hopefully I do not get eaten by a bear while recording this video. Now, the Surging Sparks Pokemon Center ETBs and Pokemon Center ETBs in general. I said this in my last video in Dust and Rivals. I went over the fact that, Pokemon Center products just tend to have that more exclusivity with them. I think moving on forward to where we are today, guys, Pokemon Center ETBs will always be a massive target for the scalpers because they will always win in that section because it's not something that Pokemon can print into oblivion. And scalpers can easily win in this market. If you were to ask me, Pokestocks, would you recommend buying one Surging Sparks ETB or one, let me rephrase that. Would you recommend buying two Surging Sparks ETBs or one Pokemon Center ETB? I think the choice, guys, in quality versus quantity is totally up to you. But for products like ETBs, a Pokemon Center one now in 2025 is hands down the better move because guys, moving forward, Destiny Rivals, that skyrocketed $60 in a week. I'm not saying that Surging Sparks will have that, but long-term growth speaking, look at Evolving Skies, look at Fusion Strike. They have, a better growth in them. And in my opinion here speaking, I do think that they're easier to sell because people who want to collect Pokemon, later on in the future or want to pick up some of their favorite sets from the Scarlet and Violet era or Sword and Shield, they're going to be targeting the more exclusive product and the more expensive ones because obviously they have more aura to them. And most importantly, guys, speaking, they're Pokemon Center products. So very, very rare right here. And I do think that Pokemon Center ETBs are not a bad way to go. If you're very, very hesitant, guys, on buying product, in my opinion, I do think that Pokemon Center ETBs should be something that you shouldn't be too worried about. Because, what we know up to today speaking, Pokemon is very, very limited on printing these. So keep that in mind when purchasing them. Now, unfortunately, I do not have any Wi-Fi. I wanted to go over the chase card of the set, the Pikachu EX. Because if you guys remember, during 2025, I believe, during like January or freaking December, we saw that the Pikachu EX hit like an all-time high of 500. And unfortunately, I can't click on it. But it's currently half of its price value. We're seeing a lot of singles right now fall in terms of price, which is why I don't really talk about singles too much on this channel. I do talk a lot about singles, but I'm way more confident in sealed product because I sort of know how that market moves. So keep that in mind. I'm not saying, guys, you should be picking up the Pikachu, but it's a considerable buy right now. It's down 50%. And speaking, you buy single product, you buy sealed product, you throw it in your binder, you throw it in your classic S for 5 years, you're going to see growth. And if you have that mindset towards really anything in Pokemon, you are probably going to see a lot of money in the long term. So whatever that means to you, hopefully that helps you out. But that's going to go ahead, guys, to wrap it up for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope all of you have a fantastic day. And if you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, drop them in the comment section or Discord down below. Thank you all so much for stopping by. Have a great day, and I'll see you next one. Peace out.